While some scientists claim that they have put an end to mystical theories, others continue to find artifacts that indicate that we know absolutely nothing about our past. Now you will see finds that should never have been found. You are on the KirTop channel. Subscribe so as not to lose us. Let's go. Message balls. A mystery that is scattered all over the world, mysterious message balls. They're everywhere, but especially love Costa Rica. They are composed of lava and sedimentary rocks, but come across where there was no lava at all. Scientists believe that their approximate age is 14,000 years. They are perfectly round and weigh up to 14 tons. If you see a drawing or an inscription on one of them, do not be surprised. This could have been left by artists and ancestors. These spheres have been seen in many parts of the world, from America to Russia. They were first discovered in Costa Rica when the company was preparing land for banana plantations. But where did they come from? There are those who are sure that they are the work of an ancient civilization. Others believe they are created by aliens. There are those who say that these are just natural formations created by river flows or retreating glaciers. Another theory is that these balls were made in the 20th century as a tourist attraction, but then the war began and they were forgotten. And the last hypothesis that I want to share with you is that if you look at these balls from above, they form geometric shapes like star maps. Moreover, each ball can represent a star or a planet. So maybe this is our message to space. Skull of Destiny. These crystal masterpieces appeared long before the beginning of civilization and are amazingly accurately carved without a single fracture. And despite all the achievements of the 21st century, we are still far from such accuracy. Only primitive tools were used to create these skulls. Scientists have always been attracted to the history of the ancient Maya civilization. They lived 1,500 years ago and were amazingly advanced for their time. In 1930, during excavations in the Mayan city of Lebantim, one of these crystal skulls was found. It was discovered by archaeologist Frederick Mitchell Hedges. This find challenged scientists. How could the Mayans create a skull of such precision using only primitive tools? This question remains open today. But our secrets continue. In Belize, human remains and jugs about 14,000 years old were found. But how did the ancient Asian even end up in America? This remains a mystery that we have yet to unravel, as does the true reason for the creation of the crystal skulls. Jade Bells. 1980s Ecuador. Adventure archaeologist Elias Sotomayor ventures deep into the jungle inspired by tales of a mysterious underground city. The city was never found, but Elias discovered amazing glow-in-the-dark artifacts that are over 18,000 years old. And here they are, forgotten in the corner, 12 bowls in a goblet made with incredible precision from difficult-to-process jade. It's a miracle, right? But it becomes even more interesting. Each cup is a perfect copy of the other, and they all exactly repeat the volume of the cup. But what if in those ancient times in Ecuador there were ultra-technological stone processing machines? And another cherry on top, each cup and goblet depicts a different constellation. Just imagine what level of astronomical knowledge their creators needed. And all this could be connected with the legendary city of the Red Sun, which according to myth was once here in Ecuador. Maybe our mysterious artifacts are all that is left of its inhabitants. Crocodile Stone. And now we will go to the amazing mountains of Laos, where the ancient ruins of Wat Pho Temple are hidden. Among this temple, archaeologists found one very strange thing. A huge boulder with a carving resembling a crocodile. But even more interesting is that this recess is the size of a man. Many people think that this stone was used as an altar for human sacrifices. If this is true, then such rituals could go back to the time of Chenla, the ancient empire that ruled these lands. According to legend, every year when the frangipani petals began to fall, King Chenla prayed to the spirits of the mountains and offered rice wine to two of the most beautiful girls. Then the girls were sacrificed to the gods. Such sacrifices are described in the 6th century history of the Sui. All this time, a community far from the big cities has preserved this story, which indicates its possible authenticity. However, it is not known what role crocodile rock played in these rituals. This unique carving makes it even more mysterious. Nothing like this has been found in the ruins of Laos and Cambodia. And here is a question: if the crocodile rock was not used for sacrifices, then what was it for? Genetic discs. Imagine, we started using microscopes only a couple of centuries ago and genetics only 150 years ago. And then boom, they find a 6,000-year-old stone disc in South America which depicts scenes of a microscopic level. Well, how can this be explained? This disc, known as the genetic disc, is respected in archaeological circles as a true relic. It is made of lyddite, a hard basalt rock, weighs about 2 kilograms and has a diameter of 22 centimeters. But the real shock is the symbols that are depicted on it. Hear me out: sperm, eggs, fertilization, and stages of fetal development. All this is drawn in chronological order, and if you turn the disc over, you can see the moments of cell division and even the development of amphibians. Don't be scared, even the archaeologists are shocked. Now think. Such a disc was found in Colombia among 6,000-year-old artifacts, but at the same time, it does not at all look like objects of the pre-Columbian era, and the symbols on it are unknown. Maybe it's even older. How could an ancient civilization create something like this and know what we have only learned in the last couple of centuries? It is such a mysterious object that some have even suggested it was created by the serpent people. Well, there really is a snake on the disc. This disc calls into question our entire system of understanding the culture of South America. Some consider it a fake, but we know that South America is full of secrets. Jagged Stones. In Southern California, amazing artifacts have been found that resemble bronze gears that were previously discovered in Peru. These stone gears, known as California cook stones, are 2 to 6 inches in diameter and up to 2 inches thick. Scholars believe they were made sometime between 6,000 and 3,500 BC. Looking at these artifacts with modern eyes, they may seem primitive, but these stones have different characteristics such as cups, round gouges and serrations along the edges, and cupcake-like patterns. It's amazing, but about 15% of them have a hole in the center, often narrow on one side. Also, scientists discovered a curious anomaly. In the middle is a perfectly square hole, which even with modern technology would be difficult to reproduce. This suggests that their ancient creators were familiar with advanced technology. The purpose of these stone discs is still a mystery. Some suggest they were used for some ritual purposes, but who created these stones and why? The question remains open. The prevailing opinion today is that these gears were used as ceremonial objects, but their meaning and symbolism are still a subject to discussion. Artifact of an unknown civilization. How about a journey into the past where archaeological finds cast doubt on everything we know about our history? It all started in February 1961. 3 adventurers, Wallace Lane, Virginia Maxey, and Mike Mikesell, set off on a hike up Mount Coso to enrich their collection of antiquities. Imagine their surprise when among ordinary rocks, they found a stone that simply could not be there. A day later, Michael decided to work on the stone and discovered something incredible. Inside the stone there was a ceramic cylinder, and inside the cylinder there was a metal rod, which for some reason reacted to a magnet. And inside, fragments of fossilized shells and pebbles were found. The friends showed the find to a geologist they knew, who after a detailed examination said this stone, in his opinion, is at least 500,000 years old. Can you imagine? 500,000 years? If so, then our discovery rewrites the entire history of human development. After all, how to explain the metal elements inside such an ancient stone? Unfortunately, we do not have a detailed description of this study as well as the name of the geologist. But one thing we know for sure, the stone was studied by creationist Ron Kull. He took an X-ray and discovered that the rod had a spring. So maybe it was some ancient electrical mechanism, but who created it and why? Race of Giants. Let's dive into the mysteries of the past. Once upon a time, about 5,000 years ago, quite real giants walked on the lands of China. Their height could reach up to 2 meters, which for those times was just an astronomical figure. You may wonder, where did such a gigantic height come from in those distant times? Scientists believe it's all about the rich food. Some huge people, just like in fantasy novels, lived in Shandong province. Their living conditions could be called quite comfortable for their time. There was access to a variety of food, houses had bedrooms and other amenities. Since 2016, researchers have been excavated near Jinan, and the giants were not the only amazing discovery. Previously, they found the ruins of buildings, many burials, and even sacrificial pits. Interestingly, the giants were most likely part of the Neolithic culture of Longshan. This is a transitional period from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age when copper tools began to be used. An interesting feature of the culture is vessels with triple legs, possibly associated with the development of cattle breeding. Underworld in Fresco. We will travel to Italy, where scientists have used supernova technology to look behind the curtain of an ancient Etruscan frescoes. In laboratories, scientists using special equipment scan paintings in different angles of light. This is called the multi-illumination hyperspectral extraction, or simply MHX. It sounds complicated, but it's actually just an upgraded version of our normal vision. Hidden details have been revealed in these ancient pictures. They were so well hidden that we didn't even know they existed. One of the most amazing discoveries happened in the Tomb of the Monkey. On one of the frescoes, details of the underworld surfaced with stones and trees surrounding the reservoirs. The protagonist of this story is not a monkey at all, but a long-disappeared man carrying some kind of object. Can you imagine? All these years, the guy has been hiding in plain sight, we just couldn't see him. Such discoveries overturn our understanding of the past and make us wonder, how many more hidden heroes in ancient frescoes are waiting in the wings to reappear in front of us? Thanks to the courage of archaeologists who are not afraid to resist the opinion of the majority, we can observe these mysterious finds. Perhaps now is the time for epoch-making discoveries, which will turn our whole understanding of the past around. Thank you for watching this video. Please like it and subscribe to the channel. See you on KirTop.